welcome you back to another episode of the Frozen Foxes. Alongside Pat Sypher, Tommy Berry, I'm Nick Paccione. Guys, these past 2 weeks were very eventful. What are your takeaways?
Well, Marist is now really starting to learn their identity on the ice. They're starting to find a game plan that's really working for them and starting to truly find out their approach as they go forward with the season.
Yeah, their game plan and identity that's been really being formed is their special teams. A lot of their goals are coming from the power play. They scored 4 goals in the last 4 games. As well, their penalty kill really strong over the weekend. They killed 10 out of 11 opportunities, and then in Rowan's game, they went 6 for 6. Nick, tell us about that.
The Red Foxes were on home ice to take a non-conference opponent in Rowan. Just over 3 minutes into the game, it's Jonathan Huang who feeds Johnny Martirano all alone, and he beats the goalie, Aiden Young, and he gets on the board early with Martirano's second goal of the year. Later in that period, Declan Bain and Chris Cetera find Tyler Stoneman, who shovels it into the net for another goal, and the Red Fox second line keeps it rolling. Now in the second period, it's Griffin Meyer who sneaks one past Anthony Russo and cuts the Marist lead in half. After Rowan would tie it later on, off of a Marist giveaway, it's Riley Capici assisting Josh Bianchi for the lead, and it's their first lead of the game, which makes the score 3-2. Just a few minutes later, Marist looking to tie things up, and they do. It's Chris Cetera falling down, and he finds a way to put it in the back of the net, but shortly after, Rowan would take the lead back. It's Jake McLeod on the tiebreaker, and Rowan would not give up the lead as they end up beating the Red Foxes 6-3.
Yeah, kind of an unfortunate way that game ended, but the first opening period was probably the best 20 minutes I've seen from Marist. They were really strong in the forecheck, not allowing too many great zone entries for Rowan, but as Rowan adjusted to them, it felt like Marist could not adjust back. And so because of that, they kind of sat back a little bit in their zone, kind of letting Rowan come to them. And then their forecheck kind of fell off a little bit, not as strong as it was in the beginning. And so they're looking to rebound the next day against Sacred Heart.
Yeah, and against Sacred Heart, they played pretty strong. Marist enters their contest with Sacred Heart with an 0-8 record all-time against the Pioneers. We're going to start this highlight off with some extracurricular in the second period. Declan Bain taken down by Nick Milmore. Coach LoBianco would argue for a 4-minute double minor penalty because of the blood. Tyler Stoneman, he's going to look for revenge of his own right here as he snipes it past the goalie from a tough angle. Stoneman's 4th power play goal of the season. Now we're going to see Sacred Heart looking for the equalizer. Jake Desmarias found William Martin for the equalizer. But before the second period ended, Tyler Stoneman shoots it towards the net, and Zach Taylor tips it in. Taylor's 3rd goal of the year. Marist takes a 1-goal lead. Now in the third, we're going to see some chaos going on right here, where Chris Cetera is going to take a hit, and down goes the glass. The game would be delayed for 45 minutes, but would eventually be suspended. Such a strange scenario right there. You two were on the call during it. I mean, how did that feel, watching such a rare event happen?
You know, in my 12 years of watching and playing hockey, I've only seen this twice, so it was kind of a once-in-a-blue-moon type of chance. But it was a lot of fun to be on the mic and just kind of fill the void with a little bit more enjoyable stuff, a little bit more color. We brought a couple players on for some interviews. Christian Martirano, brother of Johnny Martirano, and then Raymond Corneau. Really nice to have them on. We also reviewed chicken tenders on the mic.
It was a fun time during the break. Although we were there for the hockey, as you could see, they're trying to innovate. They put a piece of plywood in. You have one of the ice workers on top of the Zamboni trying to fix this. They also went to the back, tried to cut up some glass. And as you see the players, they're playing rock, paper, scissors. It was a friendly environment on the ice during this break.
Yeah, and that's what you have to love about Marist, right? And this hockey team, it's not only what you see on the ice that's just so fun to see. It goes beyond that. It's the stuff surrounding the games itself. It's stuff like this that really makes Marist hockey a one-of-one experience.
Yeah, as much as I would love to talk about this for the next hour, we still have to focus on the game. So what I enjoyed from Marist there, again, just like against Rowan, they had a strong first period, kind of tying it up 0-0, and then they had that really good power play goal from Tyler Stoneman off of the forecheck there and the support from a couple of defensemen there. And then when Shu equalized it with they scored back quickly a minute and a half later to make it 1-1. So then they also did a really good job at pushing Sacred Heart on the zone entries off to the side, not really giving them too many great chances through the center. And then their forecheck, again, also really strong.
Well, that game, there is a plan in place. On November 21st, when Marist heads up to Sacred Heart, they will play the final 9 minutes and 47 seconds of that game before the regularly scheduled game on that day. It's going to be a long day for both of those teams, but now let's shift over to another important game in the Route 87 Cup.
Yeah, as it's Marist taking on host rival Siena in Game 1 of the 87 Cup. 3 minutes into the first, Siena on the power play, a long shot by Patrick Temple was deflected in front by Will Sypher, and Siena would strike first early, and Sypher would finish with 2 points. And 11 minutes in the second, when Alex Stone would deliver that huge hit on Chris Satera, which would lead to a full ice brawl, and both Stone and Satera would get game misconduct as Stone there says goodbye. Right after that, it's Martirano on the breakaway, but goaltender Matthew McCarthy stands up and says no, and immediately after, it's Dom Waters trying to score, but Adam Derrico makes 2 great saves, and it would have made 1-0. But now Marist on the power play. Declan Bain, top of the circle, fires that one 5-hole past McCarthy and tie it up at 1 with Bain's second goal of the season. Shortly after, it's Siena on the power play. After a little bit of confusion up in front, it was determined that Luke Radozic's goal barely crossed the line, and they would restore their 1-goal lead. A couple minutes later now, it's Siena, and that shot from the point gets deflected by Dominic Rosone, and that's 2 goals in 58 seconds. But now Marist with some fight. It's assistant captain James Stevens sniping that one over McCarthy's shoulder. His first goal of the season would cut it to 3-2, but they would not score another one as Siena would come away with the win.
Marist's offense just couldn't get going early in that one, and the momentum that they tried to build, it kept getting ruined because of all the penalties, all the stoppages of play. It just kept happening over and over and over. 54 total penalty infraction minutes. I mean, that's insane, and it's very difficult to change the momentum that you have offensively when the game keeps pausing like that. That really has an effect on the players. They couldn't really capitalize on some of those opportunities. We saw Martriano. He had the breakaway that he couldn't take advantage of. Altogether, it was an up and down performance by Marist on the offensive end.
Yeah, but you know who had a really good game the next day? It was Sean Mercogliano. He was able to come away with 2 goals against Westfield State, but unfortunately Marist did lose 5-3, but I was able to catch up with him in the studio after. Let's take a listen. I'm joined here today by sophomore forward Sean Mercogliano. Sean, coming off of a great performance against Westfield State where you found the back of the net twice, but first, before we talk about that, let's talk about your journey before you came here. At Housatonic, you had 100 points. That's not really an achievement that many people get. Can you just speak a little bit about what that meant to you?
Yeah, it wasn't a personal thing. I think it was more of a team success. We were such a big family and loved each other at Hoosie. We obviously didn't have much success in the win column, so when I got to 100 points, it was just something like we could all look back on and kind of celebrate as a team. And I had such great coaching and just such a good family there, so grateful for them.
You just spoke a little bit about the coaching. You played under Northeast notable coach Dean Diamond. He was a really impactful coach on you. Can you just speak a little bit about what he did to you as a player and as a person?
Yeah, he was the greatest. Dino, he took us all under his wing the second we got there. I remember getting to Hoosie, obviously a little nervous. You just grow up playing youth hockey, and then you get to high school. It's a little bit of a bigger stage. And Dino's just the greatest guy. He's a great coach, like you said, really well recognized. And, yeah, I mean, as a person, like, I think he just made me into a better person. He had a lot of trust in me. He named me captain when I was around 15. He kind of just molded me into maturing and becoming a man and at a really young age. And he did that for all of our guys. Like I said, we had a lot of ups and downs. And, I mean, he kept us through it all and always held faith in us. And we got to practice. He always made us work hard. He was always really respectable. I remember after Sunday morning practices, he had a pizza shop, and he'd let us come over, and he'd get us free slices. He's just such an all-around guy, and he's definitely someone, like, outside of my father that I probably look up to really highly.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I remember playing against him in the locker room at Barlow's, really well respected. But now let's turn things coming to Marist now. You've kind of, so far through your first 2 seasons, been in a little bit of a different role. What has that adjustment been like, learning how to navigate the lineup here at Marist? Yeah,
it was definitely different for sure. And you come to the Ocha, you have to be 18. So under USA Hockey, I wasn't allowed to play in like the first 8 or 10 games or something last year because I was born in October. So trying to mix into the lineup, as a fresh 18-year-old, halfway through the season, trying to find your role when guys have already been going, that was a little tough. But I think it helped me because this year, I kind of already had that experience, got some games under my belt, and Obviously, last game really, I think I'm on the better track now. So.
Mm-hmm. The power play also for the team's been working really well. What have you guys been doing in practice that's leading to the success on the ice?
I think it was a little more player run. We put our input into coach that they wanted to run the umbrella, and some of the guys felt comfortable in that position. And I think we've just been getting our looks. And, sometimes, like I always say, some games you could have the best chances, puck doesn't go in the net. You get one chance, another game it goes in. And I think we're just starting to capitalize on our chances on the power play.
Now let's turn things over to the Westfield State game. That game, you were moved up to the second line with Declan Bain and Tyler Stoneman, and then you were able to find the net twice in that one. How did that go, and what was it like moving up to that line with two very skilled players?
Yeah, I love playing with those guys. College is definitely a more all-around game. Your success kind of depends on the line you're on and the chemistry you have with those guys, not necessarily the players. But, I think that playing with Bain and Stoney, Stoney just has such a knack for the net. If you're in the right spot, you're going to find a way to score. And Bain is just such a big kid. He's skilled, fast, he can shoot. So when you're out there with those guys, I think you kind of maximize your ability. You make a pass, they're going to do something with it. If you take a shot, they'll find the rebound. So playing with those guys is definitely a huge difference.
Even though the final score didn't follow your guys' way, what positive did you see in that game, and how are you going to carry it into the games against Central Connecticut State this week and Montclair?
Yeah, I think that recently, if you look at the score lines, we've been really close. And I think we have different guys producing now. I think it's all going to come together here. Lost that game 5-3, tightened it up in the third. But if you look at the third period, I think we had a shutout there, and our defense was tightening up. So, yeah, hopefully we can bring that into this weekend and produce a little more goals.
And you and your line mate Declan Bain both scored that game. You two are very close off the ice. Can you just speak a little bit about the chemistry you guys are building and how that performs on the ice? Yeah,
I definitely think it matters. We've been probably hanging out every day, 24 hours, from class to eating food to going out. We do pretty much everything together. We drive to the rink together, and he's definitely my best friend. So, being able to play with him, I think our off-ice chemistry is definitely translated on the ice. We know when to find each other. We're vocal. We just like being out there. We have a good time together. I think when you're having fun, it kind of clears your mind and lets you play better. You're not holding the stick so tight. So, yeah, when me and Bainer get out there together, we definitely try and just have fun, and I think that's translated to our success last game.
And final question for you. For fans who haven't seen you play, can you describe your playing style for them and what they can expect for you for the rest of the season? Yeah, I think
I'm just usually in the right spot, especially when I'm playing with guys like Bain and Stoney, just trying to get to the net. And I'm someone that's going to cover my point, try and get pucks out. And, I think growing up, I wasn't the fastest guy, but I always had pretty good hands. My shot's getting there, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you for spending your time with us here on this episode of the Frozen Foxes as we continue.
Very good insight from Sean. And not only is the power play clicking, but so is Sean. Coming from the fourth line and moving up to the second line, he's been playing so well.
Yeah, it's been playing really great. But like you just said, the power play, I said it earlier, they've been really strong. 4 goals in the last 4 games. What I'm really loving from the power play is their use of the power play. It's working low to high off of that first goal there from Bain. But right here, you see Tyler Stoneman. He takes it around the net. You see Sean Bruno up at the blue line, feeds it up there, then gives it on over to Williams. Williams looks for it, feeds it on over to Bruno. Again, working this east to west movement here, kind of completely moving it around. That shot goes wide there, but immediately 2 Red Foxes there are going to support and forecheck there as Tyler Stoneman here has a really nifty goal off of the little spin move right there, and then finds a little close shot against Sacred Heart's goaltender. And then right here again, off of the forecheck, strong pressure, Marist coming in to support, and then you got guys up in front. Right there, Zach Bruno there gets pushed into the puck, deflects it in, and then again off of the face-off, setting things up early, creating traffic up in front with that goal from Stevens. Really strong focus from Marist, and on their power play, it's working really well. Everyone seems to be knowing where to go, and there's a lot of unity and flow and chemistry.
Well, hopefully they can bring the special teams onto this weekend because they play Central Connecticut State and they're back home for the Veterans game against Montclair State.
Yeah, the Veterans game is going to be a really impactful night, supporting all the veterans that have served our country, as well against CCSU playing at 10 o'clock at night. It's going to be a late one for them, but Marist really needs to stay on top of Brody Davidson and William McCarter. They have, in 8 games, they have 26 points between the both of them. A real dynamic duo, but despite that success, the games haven't really been following CCSU's way. They are 4-6 overall, and as a non-conference opponent, last in their division, it's a kind of one of those winnable games Marist should be looking at to kind of be able to really jump on them on a later game. And then we're going to turn things to Montclair the next day. Defensively, Montclair's been struggling, averaging 7 goals a game, but they have a couple of strong players. They have 3 players that have over 10 points. Marist doesn't have that yet. As well, they have 4 players valued at over a point per game. So those types of things Marist is going to be looking out for in order to come away with the win. Pat, what do you think Marist needs to do?
Well, for Marist, these are 2 very winnable games. CCSU has a negative 17 point differential. The goalie, Michael Fritz, could definitely give them some issues, but what's Marist's biggest weakness? How often they get penalized. I would say that's one of the huge weaknesses that they have. This is a team that converts on those power play opportunities 6.2% of the time. That's not a very good rate. Marist matches up pretty well against that CCSU team, but it probably will be a low-scoring affair. It will be a little bit of a dogfight there. It's not going to be like that against Montclair. It's definitely not. Like you said, a team that allows 7 goals per game, this is going to be an opportunity to get some pucks in the back of the net. This is going to be an opportunity for some guys to stat pad a little bit. I think that Marist could very easily end this weekend with 2 more wins.
Yeah, it'd be really good from them if they can come away with 2 wins. Really good way to turn the season around as we're nearing the halfway point.
Yeah, 2 struggling teams in Marist and in Montclair. Both have their opportunity to win. That is all we have for this segment. Alongside Tommy Berry, Pat Sypher, I'm Nick Paccione. We'll see you guys next time.